You guys need to see
Walgreens,
this.
quick question for you. Why do you hate me?
No.
You just texted me. You're like the worst booty call ever. I show up, I'm Brick. You're like, what are you doing here? Oh, sorry, I thought you told me to show up. And no, I didn't say, oh, okay, you can wait. Okay, I can come back. No, wait. Pull up to the Walgreens pharmacy pickup line. Can I help you? Yes. You're quite literally the only person that can help me with this. Yeah. Ma'am, your prescription's not ready. You can come inside and wait with the rest of the people. Okay, I'm so sorry. And then I go inside, right? And it's a long line. And then it's my turn up there. Should be excited. I'm gonna get my prescript. Nope. I'm not excited. I'm getting nervous. I'm starting to sweat. I walk up. Ma'am, please step back away from the counter. I'm sorry, and I'm bowing like I'm in a Korean drama. Walgreens, whatever you're doing to your employees, you better lock it up and give them a raise or something.
So as someone who worked for Walgreens for 12 years, I think I can share my take on this, because I will be one of the first to say that one of the biggest complaints and issues that I had working at Walgreens was the text messages that were being sent out to patients. Because a lot of times those text messages are either inaccurate or they're just very aggressive that you just keep getting them again and again and again. But also then on the patient's part, I will say a lot of them don't actually read the text messages, because someone will say this medication is ready to be refilled, but then they'll just think that, oh, my medication's refilled, where is it? But one thing I will say Walgreens is terrible at is staffing their pharmacies. Honestly, to be transparent, they are trying to save as much money as they possibly can. So they will be okay with a skeleton crew running that pharmacy as long as they are making a positive net income. The icing on the cake to this video was Walgreens commenting, as anxiety girlies, we're so sorry you had that experience, sending you a DM. Now, I am sure if you work for Walgreens, besides like the pharmacy, it probably isn't that bad, but I will say it is very transparent that their marketing team has no clue, or is pretending to have no clue, how bad it is at their pharmacies. Because honestly, I think the biggest kick that I get out of these companies having social media accounts like Walgreens and CVS is that they will only interact with influencers, but if God forbid if it's anyone in like the medical or pharmacy field, it's always cricket. Maybe instead of wasting your time commenting on influencer posts who are complaining about their pharmacy experience, you actually start going into your stores and making the changes for pharmacies that are just so bogged down that they can barely do their job. Because I think the biggest misconception that patients have when it comes to these large pharmacy chains is that like the pharmacy manager is in charge of who is actually working at the pharmacy. Because as a past Walgreens pharmacy manager, that could be further from the truth, and I would only be allocated a certain amount of hours. So I'm actually gonna tag Walgreens in this post to actually see if they actually care about their pharmacists that work at their stores. Because if they can respond to some influencer who's complaining about their prescription, they should be able to respond to a pharmacist who has actually worked for them to see what they are doing to try to prevent these situations from happening. Then if it's just crickets, I think it's very transparent and telling that no change is going to happen.